Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine, and today I will be reading to you from the Astral Tarot, written by Malapuela and illustrated by Federica Casagrande. So I'm going to use a spread that is designed by Malapuela and is in the accompanying booklet that goes with this. And it is called The Guidance Between Two Worlds. So the Astral Tarot thematically is looking at the astral plane as sort of the next level of higher consciousness, and how can we communicate with that? How do we get beyond the veil? And Malapuela's answer, so we get beyond the veil through tarot. So let's go ahead, give this a little more love. And I almost hesitated to use this spread because it's kind of one that I use for myself, and I don't really want to just read for myself. I want to read for you all. So taking a little extra time to focus and make sure that this reading is for the maximum benefit of all. High Priestess just came out, and Knight of Wands. Okay, we'll work with these two for the beginning. All right. Cards. And put on some glasses. Okay, so our first card down is going to be the High Priestess. And the first card is My Desires, High Priestess. So yeah, if we are looking for guidance between the two worlds, we certainly are going to be asking the High Priestess. And yet the High Priestess, while she knows all, she tells us very little, because the main thing that she wants us to know is that the knowledge that we need is knowledge we already have. And sometimes we've forgotten it. Sometimes we don't realize we know it until we ask ourselves the question. So the High Priestess is here to tell us that we already have the answer to our desires. We just need to know what they are. So let's see if the rest of the cards will help us illustrate that. So our second card is Knight of Wands. And that is the obstacles that stand between us and the realization of our desires. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is a salamander, which is so fun because the symbology of the salamander is in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And on the Knight of Wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith, not all of the salamanders can make a little complete circle on the knight's tunic. And that indicates unfinished business, because salamanders in sort of the mythical point of view represented creatures of fire. So that kind of tells us a little bit that what's kind of standing in our way is not following through on things, or not giving it. The Knight of Wands is a very passionate character. It's a very forward-moving character. It's a fiery, brilliant character with a lot of gusto. But if we're not following through with that, if we're not taking what the knight is telling us, or the energy that the knight's giving us, and moving onward with that, taking that energy and completing these things, and it's real easy to get going and even get some traction on something, and then get distracted or think, oh, wow, I've done so well with this. Oh, if I just add this other piece in and make it more, and then all of a sudden you're adding all these pieces and making the setting the goal maybe even a little bit further ahead. Oh, if I've got to do this and then I can do this. It's good to have progressing goals. I'm not against that. But you have to have high but achievable goals, and you actually have to go through the motions to achieve things one at a time. You can't just pile yourself under a stack of goals and then think, hey, I've got goals, but I'm not really working on my goals. So the salamander is here to say that could be our hindrance here. All right, so for our third card, King of Swords. And so King of Swords here is to talk about who is our allies. Who are our allies in this situation? And excuse me, logic is going to be our greatest ally. So, and that makes sense. If we're thinking about a salamander, you know, the fire, getting things through to our goals, completing the little tasks, and that's where things get caught up, because you get all the, yeah, you've got the big goal, and there's little tasks that need to be done, and there's little tasks that don't need to be done, but kind of wind up glomming on to your to-do list. And so the King of Swords is here to help you prioritize that. The King of Swords is your ally to say, okay, do this, don't do this, don't waste your time with that. Sounds like my morning. Do this, don't do that, stop with all these little globby little tasks. Get back to the thing that you need to do, which for me was make this video. And so, yeah, our ally is the King of Swords, that logic. And it's not just a little bit of logic, it's full on Mr. Spock, get it done kind of logic. It's no nonsense, just buckle down and get to work. That's what our King of Swords here is telling us. So for card 4, where do we focus? Yeah, King of Swords has told us we need to focus. Where do we need to focus? 3 of Swords. Very interesting. 3 of Swords. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to switch cameras here. There we are. So we started out with our High Priestess, and then our obstacles, our allies, with the Salamander, the Knight of Wands, King of Swords, and here we are with the 3 of Swords. So 3 of Swords is often a difficult card. People don't really want to think about the 3 of Swords, because as it is, just as it looks here, it's all of the things that you have to deal with, the yucky negative emotions, the difficulties, the heartaches, the disappointments. It's just all of that stuff that just kind of gets lodged in the heart chakra. So, you know, just thinking about all the things that get stuck right here. All the stuff that gets stuck right here. And that a lot of times can influence your to-do list, that your night is just growing and growing and growing, and it's just getting so huge. Because there's things that pull at your heart for different reasons. And some of them are useful reasons. Some of them are, when you feel that you need to give your time and attention to something that perhaps you've neglected, and it might be important or it might not be important, but it's one of those things that you kind of feel like you have to do. And there's also, the idea that sometimes to move forward with the things you really want to do, you have to let go of the things that held you back, and maybe you had an attachment to that. You might have had a attachment to that feeling where you just really didn't want to move on. Because sometimes we can all wallow in our depression a little bit, and it becomes part of our identity, and we get comfortable with it. And so this is saying it's time to see that for what it is, accept that something has left our life, or the need to do something's left our life, and that new things can fill if we simplify. And sometimes you just got to pull the sword out and move on. And so sitting down and getting real with yourself about what to pull the plug on, what sword to pull out, is worth your time. All right, card 5, the Devil. Wow, the Devil. Yeah, check this guy out. He does. He looks like a Balrog. Or worse, he actually looked worse. You know, Federica made something I think scarier than a Balrog. Good for her. Good job. Yes. Where to stop investing your energies are the things that are holding you down, the things that you're addicted to, the things that get in your way, and you know they're in your way, and you know you can take the chain off. You can get off that chain. You can get out of that situation, but you've become comfortable with it. You don't want to pull on that chain because it's comfortable. Yeah, it's heavy, but it's comfortable. Yeah, it chafes, but you know, it's part of who I am. No. N-O. When you've got these two cards together, we got Three of Swords and the Devil. There is some stuff you have got to pull out. You have got to get rid of. These two cards together are saying there is some serious stuff in your life you've got to get real with yourself about, because this is addiction. And people think of addiction like, oh, a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction or a gambling addiction, you know, all of these addictions that can really ruin your life. I'm not going to slight that at all. But there's a lot of other things we get addicted to. We get addicted to being entertained. We get addicted to gossip. We can be addicted to too much sugar. You can get addicted to anything excessive. Anything that's in excess needs to be reevaluated. You need to get addicted to playing Sudoku too many times. You can get addicted to whatever seems to give you cause to ignore what's important in your life. Let's say that again to this camera. Anything that gives you some sort of flimsy justification to ignore the important things in your life, like your goals. If you're putting off your goals because it's easier to sit on your couch and watch television than it would be to sign up for that class or pick up that book or, you know, take a walk and get some exercise or whatever your goal is, whether it's to learn something new, to be something better, to, you know, practice your craft in some way, whatever your craft is, whether it's an art form or a spiritual practice or an education or anything that you're doing to make yourself better. Yeah, some days it's hard. Some days you get home from work and you're like, oh, heck with all of it. I just want to sit down and chill for a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with chilling for a little bit. But you can't make it that. You can't make that your whole life and still achieve your goals. So, yeah, really, really get serious with yourself. I mean, this is something you got to do for you. Okay, moving on. Card 6. Practical advice to achieve your goal. More than what Christine has just laid out. Who we got? Temperance. Yeah. It just kind of verifies what I just told you all. Temperance. So we got the little temperance angel kind of passing water. It looks like water, fluid, magic. Or it could be the veil between the astral and the physical plane. Just kind of morphing between silver and gold hands rather than being in cups in this one. So, got temperance. There we go. Temperance. And that is the practical advice. And here's the thing. Like I said, it's not bad. It's not bad to come home from work and chill out on your couch for a little bit because work is crazy or work is long or work is, you know, just maybe you have a job where you're on your feet all day, or maybe you have to deal with annoying clients on a phone all day, or crazy coworkers, weird boss, whatever you got. Crazy boss, weird coworkers. I mean, you know, I was contemplating some of my professional life today, and I work in a really large office, and I've worked in several parts of the office, and you know, just thinking, in the last 5 or 6 years, I've probably worked with 150 different people. And some of those people are dadgum crazy. Some of those people are absolutely wonderful. So you do have to take the good with the bad, and that's a little bit of temperance there. But at the end of the day, when you, yourself and you, are back at the abode, And maybe you've got a family, or maybe you got pets, and there could be a lot going on there. You've got to carve out the time to work on your goal. You have to temper all of the other demands on your life. And believe me, I understand that. I mean, I'm from work, family, education, whatever, got it all going on too. But what you need to do to get back to this high priestess here, to get some of this work done, to get logical and really look at the things that you can, look at all the things that you can control. There is a lot that you can control right here. And by taking a good hard look at that, a balanced look at that, there are some things that are out of your control. There are, but figure out what those things are and figure out what you can control, because you might be in control of more things than you realize. And this may just be a situation where you need to add a little bit of boundaries. You need to be like, wow, people I live with, I need 30 minutes alone so I can study my class or work on my project or my artwork or my music or whatever it is you're working on. Whatever it is. It's allergy season, I'm sorry. Try not to sneeze at y'all. So, temperance. I'm pretty sure it's not the flowers on this card that's going to make me sneeze, but I feel one coming on. Anyway, so that's what I've got for y'all today from the Astral Tarot. I love this deck. I think this deck's just gorgeous, and highly recommend. And if you're a tarot reader, and if you are just a tarot aficionado, and I don't mean just in any kind of demeaning way, love tarot aficionados, we need you, then I really hope that this has helped you kind of, if you needed that little nudge, if you needed that little poke of somebody to say, hey, your project is worth your time, so carve the time out. Now you've got Christine telling you that that's okay. Make some time for yourself, but don't just sit here in the woe is me. Don't get addicted to that. I've unfortunately known very talented, awesome people who get into that woe is me. I can't blah 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 blah. My life is blah blah blah, but their life wasn't. They were in complete control of the things they said they weren't in control of. I can't keep a job because I can't get to work on time. Yes, set your dadgum alarm. I know you have one on your cell phone. Literally had this conversation with a family member. Smart person, but did a lot of dumb things. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Be the smart person who does smart things. King Swords. Be the smart person who does smart things. Be the person who finishes what they started. Be that person. Because you can. Because it's cool. Because people who follow through are pretty freaking awesome people. So be that person. Okay, all right. Enough preaching from Christine. I love you all. You all take care. Fight those demons, all right? Okay. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.